You can go to the Grand Ole Opry, take a stroll down Music Road.
Hey, back again with another episode of Songwriting Workshop Tips from TSAI. Today we're going to talk about co-writing etiquette. And I think that's very important as songwriters, with us getting together and involved with other writers, of what to look forward to and experience when you get into the room with someone else, and how maybe you should act with other people as well. Because, there are a lot of times people come in, and one of the main things that I like to try to tell people when we talk about co-writing is leaving your ego at the door. I've written with some people, actually I wrote with some people a few months ago, where it was two different gentlemen, where one gentleman was very agreeable, everything was, okay, whatever, that's cool, whatever you want to do, doesn't matter to me. And that's all good and all, but that doesn't get you anywhere in your song if someone's just not going to agree with everything that you do. But at the same time, the other gentleman I worked with was the greatest songwriter in the world. Nobody's better than him. He's the greatest in the world, and you're lucky to be in the room with that guy. You don't want to be that guy either, because all that does is that turns people off and turns people away from the actual task of doing the song, because everything that you say and you submit is going to get turned down by that guy because he knows better. None of us are the greatest songwriter in the world. Even the greatest songwriter in the world isn't the greatest songwriter in the world, because there's always going to be somebody that's better. But the key is to not act like that. So you want to leave your ego at the door and just do what's good for the purpose of your song. If you don't get along with somebody, that's going to happen. So you just know mentally going forward, maybe I don't want to work with this person again. And that happens, not all personalities click. Some of them clash. But you don't want to be the person that turns people away. So leave your ego at the door. And that goes along with the attitude when you're in there. You don't want to be too agreeable, but you don't want to just turn everybody down for what you think is great. You want to give everybody an equal opportunity to come up with the best lines and the best version of the song you're trying to write. Or else, why are you in there writing with them? You could just do it on your own. Another thing that we like to talk about here, and I see in a lot of songwriting groups, people are always confused about the percent of the right. Well, I wrote with two people. Well, what should I get? Well, in Nashville, once you walk in a room with another person, you get equal credit, regardless. It's not that way everywhere, but here it is. And a lot of those are predetermined. Some places you're given a percentage by how many beats you write, or how many words you have in the song compared to the amount of other words in the song. If there are 10 words in the song and you write one of them, you get 10%. But in Nashville, it's generally you get 50% unless it's predetermined to going ahead. Now, if you get into a writing session and you find that you're writing a majority of everything and somebody's only throwing a little bit here and there, they still get their equal percent. So that's then up to you to determine, do I want to work with that person again and keep giving up what I feel I've done over what they didn't do? But everything that everybody throws in is valuable in some way. So you want to look into that, but the percent should always be comparable or equal to what you're doing. And another thing that I want to talk about real quick, and I know this is going to be a little long one here, what happens when you leave the room? So you're in here, you co-write with somebody, you finish a song, you walk out of the room, that song is complete. If you have an idea for it, you get with your other writer. If your other writer has an idea for it, they get with you, and you both have to approve. You, as one of the writers, don't get to walk out, rewrite the entire song, and tell the other person, this is my magic, deal with it. Because that's not fair to the writers. When you walked out that door, you agreed this is the way the song is going to go. So you need to adhere to that when you leave the room. Again, rewriting can happen and other ideas can happen. I've done that too with writing with other people. But I've always reached out to them and said, hey, I have this idea for this part. We were kind of stuck with this. What if we just did this, or we just said this, or maybe we changed this line to this? What do you think? And if they come back with, yeah, sure, that sounds great, then that's what you do. If they go, no, I'm not quite sure that that's the direction we need to go, then you find another direction. Because everybody in your right has to be agreeable to what happens, or it's not a cohesive right with everybody. So I just wanted to talk about that a little bit. If you have any questions about co-writing etiquette, leave them in the comments and let us know. Thanks for coming.
You will hear some faded cowboys used to ride the old radio, and you will see some shooting starlets wonder why they shine so bright. I tell you, son, it ain't no secret. Songwriters helping writers down at TSAI.